The Monday Morning Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Esther of IPA Group, bringing premier online promotion to your business.
And Melanie of Stomp Social Media Training, who empowers business owners to manage social media and marketing for themselves. Welcome back to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're talking about the psychology of marketing. What do you know about psychology, Melanie?
I live with a psychologist. Does that help?
Ooh. Does he, shrink your head every night?
Nah.
That sort of psychologist?
The conversation isn't that in depth, in fairness.
We'll not tell him. Okay, but psychology is important. Would you agree with that bit?
I think understanding the mindset and the customer journey is important. But when you start evoking the word of psychology, I think it might be a little frightening and off-putting to people that aren't psychology students as, oh, heck, is there something else I need to understand as well?
But it might be more off-putting to your customers if they listen to how you're shrinking them every time that you're, sending out posts and stuff. But psychology is, some people say it's the root of marketing. I don't know if it's not the be all and end all. It's not the one and only thing that will make your marketing work, but it is, I think, a really important part of it. So, we've talked about some aspects of these before, but today we're just going to go through, in these 10 minutes, we're going to talk about 10 psychology principles that will make you a better marketer. And it goes for any business, any industry, any person at all. So
I like your chances of keeping this 10 minutes. We've not done any of the others in 10 minutes for a while.
No, for a while. Well, we have to stop waffling on then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
carry on.
Okay. Number 1, ask your customers for testimonials.
How's that psychology? Surely that's just common sense.
No, it has a psychological twist to it, right? So it's called gathering social proof. So if one person sees that other people like something, then they want to buy it, right? So if you're out shopping for a new car, say, and your friend has just bought the same car, and somebody else that you know has just bought the same car, then you're going to ask them and say, do you like your car? Do you like this new car that you got? And if they are ranting and raving about it and say, yes, it's a wonderful car, then obviously it's going to tilt your perception. It's going to influence you to buy one as well. Unless you don't want to be like your friends, unless you want to go to the opposite extreme and go, nah, I'm going to buy the rubbish one from the other dealer around the corner instead.
Well, no, I do get the old social proof. In fact, I've been very lucky the last few weeks. Because I send out my link on a frequent basis, asking people to give me feedback and reviews, and I've actually been quite lucky over the last few weeks in getting some really nice ones. And I do make a point, because a lot of them just end up either on LinkedIn or actually most of them are on Google reviews. And they kind of disappear there because, how many people actually look up your Google reviews? So I tend to copy and paste them, put them into Canva, and then I share them.
Mm-hmm. And add them to your website.
Well, I add them to my website, but do you know where they've started to get really popular? Is in the highlights on stories. So that you put it up as a story and then you save it as a highlight and then it never disappears.
Yeah. See, testimonials work. So, right. Point 2, the decoy effect, right? Did you know that people presented with 2 options to buy will have different opinions than people presented with 3? So if you have one product and you've got 2 price points in that one product, say you've got, in our case, web design, and if it's a 5-page website or a 25-page website or an unlimited page website, if we only offered the 2 and said, 5 pages or landing page, or static or brochure websites. And these are your 2 prices. You've got this one for that amount, the other one for the other amount. People are less likely to buy than if you give them a third option.
Well, that's classic. You see it at Costa Coffee and Starbucks. And that's why they offer them 3 sizes of cups, knowing full well that the majority of people will go for the middle.
Yeah. But I saw a video a couple of days ago that even if you buy the smallest one, it all still fits almost identically in the other two sizes anyway. But that's a story for another day. But if you give them, if you don't have three options, then invent a third option, or invent something that will, not invent, but you know what I mean, bring in other elements into
Curate.
your
Yeah.
course, for example, that will give them the third option, right? Right. So, number 3, scarcity, right? We love knowing that something is limited edition, right? Limited quantities, buy now, last day to buy.
Yeah, but how do you do that as well? I mean, graphic designers, website designers, social media trainers, there's hundreds of us. We're hardly scarce, are we?
But this is where your USP comes in. This is where, what you do makes a difference to what they get out of it,
Okay. So how do
right?
we do
So
this?
so for scarcity, right? You're a prime example because you have a course, right? So
My
on the
supported
day,
digital marketing strategy course, for those of you who are wondering.
right? So you do a webinar to
Yes.
promote that course. So on the day of the webinar, if people sign up that day, you could give them a discount.
Hmm.
That on this day only on this day will you get it for this price, right? And then for maybe for the next week, they will get it for a rising amount, but only the people who join the webinar and join the course on that day will get it for a certain amount. If you
X.
want to join later, even if you were on the webinar, if you didn't take advantage of it that day, too bad, it's now this price.
Hmm.
Okay. What I don't like, and I know I'm not going to make it to 10 minutes because I just looked at the time.
I told you.
Sorry, guys. What I don't like is the people that go one day only, 3 days left to get this, and you refresh the page and it still gives you 3 days left to buy it. They have to.
Or is that
Some
just
people are
poor
too
website
scared.
design?
No, but some people are too scared to actually cut off
Yeah.
and say, early bird is only until this date. Some people go, well, I mean, yeah, early bird was to that date, but I've decided to extend it. No, sorry, I don't trust you anymore. Right? So, next one is
Point four.
anchoring.
Oh,
Yes, we're
anchoring.
in 4
Okay.
already. Anchoring. With the amount of information online these days, people need something to hold on to. A North Star, source of truth, something that buyers need to press that buy now button, right? So if you're running a sale, make sure people aren't just seeing the sale price. Show them what it was then and what the price is now, right? So you've got that on your website. You've got normal price or value of items is X amount. One day only, this price. Don't hide what it usually is. If
Hmm.
you're going for a 50% off sale on your clothing line, show them what the price was before. Yeah?
Okay. No, that
Agree?
makes sense. That does make sense.
Right. So, what are we up to? 5.
Yeah.
Right. Loss aversion. Right. Psychology is the study of people and how they think and everything. It's taught us that humans are more fearful of losing out than they are excited about gaining something. Now, I've also heard of this in the other way around, and don't like, because with this one, it's better to say, don't miss this experience rather than gain this knowledge.
Do you know what this makes me think of? Do you remember the Maureen Lipman ad? I can't even. I think it was for tea or something.
Yeah, she was T. Yeah.
And he's got an ology. He's a scientist.
Uh-huh.
And do you remember that? Maybe it was
Yeah.
just in the UK. But and
Well, I'm in the UK.
well, yeah, I keep forgetting that. Yeah. And so when it came down to thinking of that particular psychology, I can understand how May King brings FOMO to people's minds.
Yeah.
She's letting them know what's to come, but you have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So are we now saying that May King is a shrink?
I'll leave that up to you guys. But I've also heard of it in the opposite way. Instead
Oh,
of saying negative things like, this will help you not to do something. I'm thinking of it in terms of, I heard it from a hypnotist, and he said that he markets it rather than this is to help you stop smoking. It's help you to, or instead of saying to help you not want to smoke, instead of using a negative, he will turn it into a positive.
But
So it will
marketing
help.
classically gives you the bad stuff. Find
Oh, yeah.
5 ways how you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so, how is this going to help people with their marketing?
Because people will want to click into how to not do it wrong rather than clicking into 5 ways you know that you're doing it right. No, I'd rather figure out if I'm doing it wrong and change that than see if I'm doing it right.
Mm,
Yeah. Plus,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are negative and, don't look for the positives and things anyway. So instead of saying, gain this from this experience, it's like, don't miss out. Don't lose, you know, don't lose money by going with that other bunch of people for your house insurance. All right, what are we up to now? Is this 6? Is
6.
this 7? Right.
Now we're
Color
7.
psychology. Right. Color psychology. We talked about this with
Sue.
Sue on a previous podcast. Colors
Mm,
are feelings, emotions, brands, products. The colors you choose to showcase in your marketing can greatly impact the way people think of your brand.
mm,
So think about how you're choosing those colors, how you're putting them together, what they mean, what they symbolize, and the emotional responses attached to them.
how it makes you feel, or how it makes your audience feel.
Exactly. It's not because it's not just about you. It is about
Mm,
how the audience feels. And would that make them buy from you, trust you, see you as authentic, see you as somebody that they can relate to as well,
exactly.
right?
It's the relatability that matters, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the next one's a bit more complicated. Are we on 8? 9?
That's not. No, we're on 8 now.
Are we? Thought this was 7. Anyway, you can let us know in the comments if we messed up the numbers. Law of least effort,
The
right?
law of least effort.
Yeah, right. If you're a math whiz, math whiz, you can put pen to paper and solve an equation, right? But
Mm,
most people use a calculator instead. Why?
because it's
Why?
easier.
It's
It's just
easier.
easier. It's just faster.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, the law of least effort, is it easy for people to check out on your website?
Ah,
Do
so
they have to?
customer experience, CX.
Yeah. Right. I told you these are things that we do without thinking that they're psychology.
Hmm.
But thumb scroll is it um
I
is
thought
your
you were going to say
website
thumb screws
scrollable?
then.
Is it scrollable? Is it where people like, is your content thumb stoppingly good?
Yeah.
Do people, when they're on your website on a mobile experience, can they click the button where their thumb is rather
Mm.
than having to move their thumb or use a different digit to click the buy now button? How many processes, how many steps do they need to
Yeah.
get to the checkout and pay for your stuff?
And ultimately, they're trying to do it with every platform now, aren't they? They're trying to reduce the
Oh
amount
yeah,
of
of clicks.
moves
Yeah,
that you make.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right. Next one, because we have lost count of the number. Paradox of choice. How many times have you walked into a store to buy a piece of clothing and be overwhelmed with the decision process and left with nothing?
Classic example: pennies.
Yeah, Primark or Primark for those of us in the UK. You walk in and you go, right, I'm going to buy a pair of trousers, pair, right? Or a pair of jeans. And then you get to them and do you want skinny jeans, bell bottom jeans, skinny jeans with bell bottoms at the bottom of them? Do you want them
Mum's
blue, black,
jeans.
white? Yeah. Why can we not just have one option? Then there's the color choices, right? What color do you want them in? One of each, please. Too many options. Well, I think in the case of Penny's Primark, it's a bit because they're so affordable, you probably would buy more than one.
In fairness, you would, yeah.
But if you were, handbag shopping, shoe shopping, too many choices,
Mm.
right? So there was a study carried out that the more choices the shoppers have to choose between, the less likely they are to actually choose one. So in the case study that I saw, it was jam. So if you have 24 choices of jam, attracted 60% of the shoppers and 3% of shoppers bought jam. Whereas if they had 6 choices of jam, it attracted 40% of the shoppers and 30% of those bought jam.
Cool. What a high conversion.
Right? So you're more likely to get people buying it if you have less, which also relates back to the urgency of, well, if these are the only options I have, buy now or don't buy, going to buy now, right? Okay, we're almost done. Almost done. Hang on with me. Gone way over time, but hang in there. Okay.
We haven't done a
Urgency.
10-minute podcast in a while. Come on.
We will. Eventually. Right. So urgency. Yeah. Give them deadlines. Give them countdown timers. The price increases, just like we were saying earlier on. If you buy today, you get it for this price. But if you buy it over the next week, then maybe on the Monday, it's £3 dearer. On the Tuesday, it's £5 dearer. On the Wednesday, it's price increase like that. There are other ways that I saw of somebody wanted to have on their website that the first 100 people, so the first person that bought got it for £1 or €1, $1, whatever it was. The next person then bought it at 2, then 3, then 4. So if you weren't one of the first ones to buy, you could end up buying it for 50, 100. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you have that urgency going, right, so we've had 30 people buy and there's 14 people online looking at it. Holidays for sale.
Oh, you see it all the time, don't you?
Yeah, so many people have bought this and 14 people are looking at it right now, but we only have 3 rooms left.
And then Paul from Northumberland bought 1 room, 3 rooms left.
Yeah, right? So there's loads of websites do that, you know? Although I think maybe the one where it says Paul from Northumberland bought might be in breach of GDPR. But anyway, you have these where you're like, okay, so there's only 3 rooms left at that price, or there's only 5 seats left on the plane at that price, and there's 4 of us, so gonna need to buy it now. You know, you've got that urgency, and it might turn around that, oh, somebody returned their seats or didn't want to buy that plane ticket, etc. So now you could log in the next day and there's 20 of them left. You never know, right? Last one, promise. Okay.
I thought that was the last one.
No, I told you that you messed up, that you were,
Goodness.
that you were counting wrong. And this is one that I have a hard time pronouncing. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Right? We all like free stuff.
Well, yeah.
Right? When you get a free perk, like an Agora Pulse hoodie, you're more likely to remember them. Take photographs of it, share it out in your socials, right? The same works for conversions. Give shoppers something up front and hope that they return the favor, right? You could give them a discount code, a free ebook, a website audit, a guide. There's lots of things that you could give them when they buy from you that adds value, that they're more likely to then go, oh, these guys are great because they gave me free stuff. I'm going to shout about them, give them their testimonials. I'm going to tell my friends that if you're looking for somebody to go to for social media training, they should go to Melanie. If they're looking for a website, go to Esther. If they're looking for XYZ, go to that person or thing. If it is a free t-shirt that you send and we end up walking around the streets wearing it, all the more, people seeing it.
You do realise you've just made everybody aware just how cheap we are now.
Oh yeah, we we work for hoodies and notebooks and cups of coffee, mugs. Yeah, we definitely love our mugs.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I think everybody loves free stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. So I hadn't realised actually so much of what we do on a daily basis. I mean, not everything that we do on a daily basis is down to a psychology of some description.
Yeah.
And I have been sort of trying to be the naysayer throughout today's podcast. It's not because I haven't believed or I do understand everything that's been said. But
you're playing devil's advocate.
Basically, yes. And there's going to be some of people in our audience who are going to think, well, how does that work? Why does it apply to me and how can I apply it? So I do hope you found this information useful. It certainly pricked our ears up when we came across this information. So Thanks to Esther for suggesting this topic today. And let us know if you're applying any of your psychology tidbits or any of the ones we've mentioned today, and we'll pass it on on another podcast.
Absolutely. That's it for today, guys. We'll talk to you again next week. Until then, have a good one.
Ciao. Seriously, 10 minutes? 10 minutes.
Yeah, well,
10
okay.
minutes.
Okay, I lied. I lied. I'm sorry.
It's nearly double.
I know. Well, if you stop talking, then,
Well, they finished. They're not listening now anyway.
I'm going to make you do all the talking in the next one. See if you can stick to 10 minutes.
Deal.